One story, though, coming out of the post-game news conferences, Pat Quinn has announced he will not coach the Vancouver Canucks next year. He, of course, also has the titles of general manager and president, so still plenty of work left for Pat Quinn as he tries to win a Stanley Cup for Vancouver. Right now, let's go back to Sportscenter with some news and some unrest in Vancouver on the West Coast. Back to you.
All right, thanks very much, John. Yes, indeed, we were worried so much about the reaction in New York in the event the Rangers won or lost, as the case may be, but in fact, it was the other end of the spectrum that's providing at least the early news of problems.
Much as they did at the Garden for the games in Vancouver, the Pacific Coliseum, where the Canucks play, had a big crowd on hand tonight to watch the game, and some disturbances apparently have been going on outside the Pacific Coliseum. This just 2-3 moments ago, as you see some of the skirmishes, and it's so early, and from a distance it's so hard to tell if in fact this is hopefully just an isolated incident or two. But as you know, in Montreal last year, after they won the Stanley Cup, there was the incidents that happened outside the Forum and along the street in Montreal. There was the concern in the States, but the passion for hockey and the following for hockey is so deep that in Canada there is obviously more of a concern, and unfortunately we're seeing those fears borne out this evening in Vancouver.
Again, we have not seen any of this before. We have no idea how widespread it is. It looks relatively self-contained, and the key element that people are concerned about, if you're going to have unhappy fans and they're going to start hitting each other, that is one thing, obviously. It's when it becomes breakage and involving property in an area around an arena or in a city that people begin to become worried. And so far, we don't have reports of that there or in New York, for that matter, but we will obviously have to keep you posted on both those stories.
We'll go back to New York as the evening goes on. Also, a true American hero, O.J. Simpson, is not saying anything publicly tonight as a nation awaits word on who killed his ex-wife and her friend. The latest from L.A. as we continue on SportsCenter. Also the night in baseball. Baseball tonight is coming up. We'll have highlights, too. Yanks and Baltimore collide for first in the East. The Central leading Cleveland Indians must get past the glove of Alomar. And the Sixers choose the cool hand to jumpstart Philly hoops. All that, tons of baseball, and back to the Garden as we continue live from New York and the ESPN headquarters on this championship night for the Rangers.